battle, guys.
Look, I'm going to make it even better. This is the true Decepticon leader. He gets 2.
Yeah, that's right.
He's retired.
I should have been.
There you go, yeah. I pass this to you. It's like it's a bottle of water.
What else we want to talk about?
Thanks. Yeah, anybody else?
Don't
Hop on
push the
up,
stage at once, guys.
Yeah. The line is too long.
Everybody's like, it's
Stop.
Sunday, I don't want to give up.
I can talk more about the UK Transformers comics if you want. So in issue 12.
Oh, I got stories I can share. I tell you stories.
Yeah, we can just drop stories. Oh, right on.
Are we recording and streaming this or no?
No one knows.
Is it on? Is there
It's
like,
in the same
I'm not sure that everything I want to share is stuff I should share, but it's funny. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
Alright, so were you guys like, when you saw the final product, were you kind of upset with like the lag and like some parts being lower quality? Like when you got shot and Hot Rod waited about 10 seconds.
Any of the big
okay?
scenes, all the big scenes were the animation like was jerky for some reason. None of us know why, but unless they told you something I didn't know. But I know for the first season it was mainly because their budget was very, very small. They did a lot. They did the best what they could with what the money they had. But after seeing the other 2 seasons, I don't know why they just kept it that way on purpose. But what they originally told me was that they wanted to have a very anime feel, like Armada and Energon. I mean, this was originally pitched as a Transformers anime, and then it just went from there to, you know, it transformed into other things. So I mean, I kind of felt like the jerky animation style kind of reminded me of some of the CG that you see in anime, you know. But I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was, I don't know. Did they tell you guys?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, if you watch like the new Berserk series and stuff, it's very similar. It's just kind of like
the Godzilla movie on Netflix.
Yeah, same thing.
It's the same thing.
Same sort of frame rate. I think it's just it just seemed different because like even Beast Wars is fluid because it's just a very different process.
Yeah, it was more like that stop motion-y Lego movie type stuff.
Yeah, where it's just frames are
it's
just
still
taken
CG,
out.
but it's like they took out frames.
Yeah, it's specifically for like, you know, that look though. It's not like it was an accident or anything.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Like, did you see Spider-Man?
Yeah, similar to Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That also had that kind
Yeah,
of
that also had the missing frame.
Not quite
the different
fluid.
frame rate.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
But it kind of reads like a comic book too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It definitely felt like an artistic choice. Like, it was like, I like the way this looks, let's do it this way kind of thing. But part of me thought maybe it was just because the massive bots and the big city scenes just took up so much rendering for things that massive. You know, because I used to do, well, I didn't make them myself, but I used to work on these Transformers parody on my YouTube channel back in the day, and my friend was doing all the CG himself, and that was the same thing. Like, the bigger the characters and the more CG CAD 3D models that were in it, the jerkier the frame would be. It looked very similar to the combined wars from the primary trilogy.
And also, like, when you think about it, G1, Starscream was every color of the rainbow at some point.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I love about Transformers animated. They made that a reason. Why they're
Oh yeah.
These aren't just random miscolored characters. They're real. They were clones of Starscream. And we saw some cool
characters from that. Like
that's totally plausible. That really happened.
Yeah. How you man?
Hey, I like the shirt and the hat. Excellent.
So my question is, well, I mean, for John, it's kind of already answered, but was it a dream come true to voice your specific characters in Combiner Wars? And is there another character that, again, this might also apply to John already, that you would like to voice in the future for the Transformers brand?
Yeah, he wants to.
Yes.
Or do you want, I will have the shortest answer.
Yes, what the shortest answer?
Yes. Starscream was always kind of one of my favorite Transformers. I mean, I was always a good guy though. Like growing up, I was the Autobot, but my favorite bad guy was always Starscream. My favorite 3 bad guys were Starscream, Cobra Commander, and Skeletor when I was a kid. You know, more than and the Master, of course, the doctor back there, the Delgado Master. That's right. But yeah, it was a dream come true. So far as what I'd like to play, same answer from the last TFcon, the Rumble and Frenzy characters. I always loved them, and then by extension, Rat Trap from Beast Wars. Not that I would want to do those if there's any chance for those to be done by Scott and Frank. But Like they're fun, and I'm a New Yorker, so it'd be nice to kind of let free with that. Missed it.
To be honest, no. Just because I wasn't a huge Transformers fan growing up, so auditioning and stuff, I was like, Megatron is the bad guy, right? I don't know. But over time, I've come to really love the character as I've learned more about him and gotten to play him and stuff. So it's definitely become a thing where it's like, you know, I would jump at the chance to do Megatron again. But starting off, it was you know, another set of auditions, and because I auditioned for, gosh, everybody, like Starscream, Optimus Prime, Megatron.
I don't even know where you guys got. I never got any auditions.
I only got a few of them.
I would love to audition for more stuff.
They sent me all the bad guys.
I didn't get the audition process like normal, which is weird for me, especially that's what I do every day.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was, is there another character that I wanted? I'm not as deep enough into Transformers to really be able to answer.
Anyone other than Paige, I assume you.
I mean, maybe. I know that I wouldn't necessarily want to voice any of the superheroic characters. I probably wouldn't be that interested in. Just
Villains are more fun.
Villains are more fun. That's just how it
More
is.
to chew on,
It's
yeah.
just how it is. Way more to chew on.
Well, this is. I'll try to keep this answer as short as possible. I know you thought you already knew the answer, but this was a dream come true for a couple of reasons. Mainly because one of my goals was always to be a character, a regular, recurring character in an animated series. And another one of the things on my checklist was to be a Transformers character in an official Transformers capacity, whatever. So this like checked two things off the list, not to mention voicing one of my favorite characters of all time, which was Optimus Prime. And the fact that I didn't have to audition for it, they just literally, it was all because of networking, like it was because of Comic-Con. You know, I just like put myself out there, kind of chatted them up, found them over at the Hasbro booth. And then once other people with similar connections and they started putting the pieces together, like, oh, well, we know who you are. And we exchanged information. I gave my email address and then they just emailed me directly. I don't even know where the auditions went or came from. So, but because of that, after season 1 came, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but after season 1 was wrapped on my third session or second session I was there, the voice of Windblade, myself, he's like, I want to talk to you guys specifically, like Eric was aside. He's like, Hasbro was so impressed with you guys' work, they would like you to do a lot more in further capacities, which was freaking great. And then she ended up as Windblade and whatever the new show is, Cyberverse or something else. And then, and for some other smaller stuff. And then I just made it, because of that, I made these crazy cool connections at Hasbro. They started storming all kinds of voices. I wish I could tell you half the stuff I've done voices for. The only one that I think is I'm legally allowed to talk about, the FAO Schwartz in New York, they've added a huge wing of Transformers, and they've added this 8-foot Transformers interactive statue. That's me. So you can go up there, push the button, and listen to me interact back with you and do your videos or whatever. So like stuff like that all the time. It's crazy. And because of that direct thing, my agent sent, the prelude stuff, the 4 videos that came out before the series started, I put one of those clips because that was a little more Optimus Prime than they allowed me to do in the actual show. It was more like the original voice. That was like the first clip of my demo. My agent sent that to Paramount, and they were like, we would like John to fill in for Peter Cullen for the Bumblebee movie. And because of that, I ended up being Shockwave and Soundwave in the Bumblebee movie. So thank you, Go Better Wars, very, very, very much. All of that would not have happened if that just hadn't worked the way it did. So yeah. Like I said, that's a long answer, but I mean, it's just it's a story I love to tell because it's so weird how that just worked out.
Oh yeah, there's occasionally a nice like
trickle, like the stars just aligned somehow, like just one thing after another.
There you go. There you go.
Speaking of Abby Trot, just about
Listen to the lines that have been previously recorded and matched the time, and he literally took his headphones off and goes, "What do you need me for? This is great." And I'm just like. He's the whole reason I got into voiceover in the first place, from growing up with Star Wars and the Joker and whatever. So hearing that story, so after I took my face off and dried it and then put it back on, I was just blown away by that. So like sometimes you run into but I never got to meet him when he was recording because they weren't allowed to tell us that they had cast him yet. And I recorded the day after, and I'm just like, I just remember looking over at the producer Matt, just like.
They played us a clip too.
Yeah.
We were there and they're like
that moment.
guys, we can't tell you, we can't,
Exactly. Yep.
you can't share this at all, or whatever. So then they pulled back and we heard Mark Hamill for the first time as Megatron, and Jason did an awesome Megatron. We had the pre-script reading for season 2 or for series 2, or the Titan Returns, right? They returned.
Yeah, season 2.
And he did, gosh, what was it was like a Christopher Lee kind of voice?
So it's sort of a 20J.
It was a 20J
thing,
voice, yeah. Oh,
See, now it's
it
funny.
was
Now
so
it's funny
funny.
when you're trying to say.
And like, it was really good. So that on the read that we did on the phone, I was really impressed with that. But you know, like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, Mark Hamill was legit, and I was delighted that
Yeah.
he ended up being
What was
cast.
your one, Frank?
Well, for ensemble cast, I mean, we really
It's not flattering me until
we really only did.
I will be. Just go under the table the rest of the film.
I will say while you're still thinking, I'll say that it was difficult for the timing. It wasn't that it was a funny story, but it was pre-animated from the mouth, so we had to get our lines done really fast, which that was trouble for everybody, because like, well, how are you supposed to get this much dialogue? And he would be like, hang on, we're gonna call. Let me go check with the writers to see if we can fix this where it'll work. That was like, I think that hiccuped every single person that went through this script, like, how are you supposed to get that in there so fast?
Yeah, what he's talking about is there's different types of voiceover. Some you're doing two mouth flaps
Yeah.
for pre-existing animation.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you do, it's called ADR. When there's something that exists in Japanese or something, you're trying to fit these in. So this was similar to that in that there was pre-laid animation of, like, it's very kind of rudimentary, not what you ended up seeing in the final product. I'm sorry, you're like standing there for right. If you want to take a seat while we're on, 'cause we're sitting down relaxing up here, and you're. So yeah, so we had to match because of the pacing of that, and a lot of times like it just didn't work, so they would have to rewrite a line or something because it just seemed, for lack of a better term, robotic. So yeah, but so far as like my first session for Combiner Awards, we were just talking about that, was single, and then the ensemble was with you guys and Lana.
Yeah.
Lana's one of the most talented people
She's
in the world.
a
She was the Mistress of Flame. We just saw her did a musical version of Stranger Things, and she played Seven over at the Rock. And my God, girl, that's really, really cool. So if you want to see the Mistress of Flame, go look for some of her musicals and stuff. But I'm going to go with a different answer. So since the early 90s, I've had a D20 in my pocket for good luck. I played Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. Same game since those early years. And the showrunner starts talking about Dungeons & Dragons afterwards. We had a beer on the bench afterwards. And he's like, oh, what are you doing on Saturday? I'm not doing anything. I'm in town. I'm from New York City. I'm literally here to do this show. Do you want to come play Dungeons & Dragons? So I ended up the day before my 39th birthday, because I'm 42 this year, playing Dungeons & Dragons in a house somewhere in the middle of Burbank with a bunch of animation people as this dwarven fighter who could do nothing because everyone was shooting arrows at us. But it was fun. So yeah, I'm going to give you an unconventional answer.
Love y'all's
Hey,
work.
McLovin.
Yes. After the machinima shutdown, what were your guys' initial reactions? Because all of that content was gone. Combiner Wars, Package Return, Power of the Prime, those disappeared for a while.
Well, that's not 100% accurate because it came as a bonus feature on the last night. You get to watch the entire series.
But just Combiner Wars, yeah.
And it looks great on that.
It looks much better on
TV
that,
screen,
yeah.
more than a computer screen, I think. But yeah, it was surprising at first because it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, there it isn't. And so yeah, but it's now up on roosterteeth.com
Yeah.
for anyone who's looking for the show. But yeah, for a bit there, it was just kind of. It was very odd to know that it just wasn't there because I think Combiner Wars is still up on the Hasbro YouTube.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But they're all up on
Anything Transformers video is going to eventually be on Hasbro's main channel or one of them. So I was never like, well, that's gone forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I figured they would use it in some capacity. It's just so weird how they did it though, because it was only streaming on Go90 for a while, and then we released like 1 or 2 episodes on YouTube. And then releasing all the episodes unlisted in the US, but available in the UK only on YouTube, but not on Go90 because Go90 didn't work overseas in Europe. It was really odd how that worked out. I think they were just trying the digital format, the streaming service type thing, and they were just seeing how it would go. But I mean, because of that first season, the budget did we got so many views from it that they were able to increase their budget and bring in Perman and Hamill and Cullen and stuff. So that made me happy. A lot of people get my biggest question is like, were you mad that Peter Cullen replaced you? I'm like, did you listen to your own question just now? Am I mad that the greatest voice of all time replaced me? No.
How dare you?
Come on. I'm thrilled that they got the Peter Cullen for Optimus Prime anytime that ever happens. So.
Oh my God, and I was fanning out over Judd Nelson being.
I know, that was so cool.
So, quick story about him if you want. So I used to do the MC stuff for BotCon. You guys have ever been to like the last 2 BotCons and stuff. So he was the last like featured guest for BotCon about 2017.
Yeah.
2000. Getting old. And at one point during the convention, someone gave him this beanie hat. It was like this had a big Autobot symbol. It was blue and red with a little gray in the middle. It was very Autobot Prime's trailer kind of thing. And he wore it for the whole convention. So fast forward a year later, we're doing the records for Titan's Return, and I happened to be Titan was all done. They weren't ensemble sessions.
No
That's why it's
ensemble
like we don't have any,
Yeah.
weird stories about it. But we were also kind of hanging out here and there, watching people's sessions, and like, we had fun. So he shows up with the hat. He rides up with his wool trench coat and motorcycle, and he's just the nicest human in the world. And he's like, "Oh hey, how you doing?"
I didn't know he had shown up either. Like, because I just sort of saw this figure moving by, and because I remember I went into the office and he was hanging out there, and I'm just sort of like, I didn't know who it was, but they weren't in the middle of a conversation or anything. I thought it was some, just guy chilling out or something. They were like, "Oh hey, that's Judd Nelson." I'm just like, "Oh." So it is. I actually see. Yeah. Okay.
And you guys, the fans, like had such an impact on him at BotCon. Like he's like, I had no idea there are these people that have this passion. This is amazing, right? That he saved the hat. He brought it with him, and God, if you ever see him buy him a beer, he's very, very
sweet
great,
guy.
very nice guy.
I'm pretty sure he's still been wearing that same trench coat since Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
He never took it off from this
He's
moment.
not the character. He's such a sweet
He's just
guy.
that guy from that movie, and he's never
When he walks in, he's got the got it, yeah. So there's an anecdote to whoever asked that question.
Which is, by the way, one of my favorite Easter eggs in that Bumblebee movie was the Breakfast Club being played.
Oh, yeah.
Bumblebee doing that. Yeah, I was like, ah!
I understood that reference.
So I guess that's all the questions.
An idea is always one of the leaders of Cybertron. The true leader of the Decepticons. Consequently, Cybertron. Is there something I can hear about Cybertron?
I'm good, thanks.
I don't know, the writers, people smarter than I am, I'm just a monkey who reads the lines, but oh my lord, I love the idea. It was such a natural progression for him to do that, right? To go into politics. There's that.
Get a law degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
In the comics.
And there's several ways where he kind of what's the line from the Dark Knight? The Joker's like, I'm like a dog chasing a car. If I ever grabbed the car, I wouldn't know what to do with it, right? And that's why I love his little thing. Like, it's not leadership is not a coveted prize or a simple matrix thrust into your chest. It was great. I like that. I like the moments that he was a politician.
A lot of people actually, a lot of fan comments that I saw like the fact that he was different from what it was like. I'm sick of him being the evil, conniving, whatever, and then he ended up doing it anyway. I'm like, you never let your guard down around Starscream.
Not ever.
It's true.
It's like, you should have seen it
From the
coming.
moment he saw
You
him.
were like, no, they're
I
not
know
going to
what
do
you're
that.
doing.
They're finally going to make him a good guy. I like it this way, and he just does it anyway.
That's why that's my favorite moment. That whole I'm back to who I was because you.
I gotta say that session where you did the final episode that we recorded.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank showed some serious acting chops in that part. Because at first he was just going Starscream, and it was like, no, that we're in a whole other plane of existence now. He's been enlightened. He can literally see everything at one time. Like, he was breaking it down for Frank, and Frank just like flipped the switch on to like, okay, well, we'll go to Oscar mode real quick.
Oh, no, you don't. You stay here.
Anyone else?
Anybody else?
That is not in our programming. Go back exit.
Breaking up.
Come on, man, we can push.
So how D&D?
D&D, all
Dungeons and Dragons.
What up, man? That's it?
That was your
I was
question.
gonna ask if you have any good D&D stories.
Have any good D&D stories?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, jeez. You seriously want to hear this?
Oh, good night,
I feel like we should take a show of hands or something. I'll tell you about my...
D&D stories.
Favor.
D&D stories.
Opposed?
All right, so when I was 13 years old,
Motion
before
carries.
that, I could never afford the books myself, or when the AD&D came out. So we would get marble notebooks and make up our own rules and draw pictures and take photographs of the Time Life fantasy Enchanted World books and make our own crap. When we could finally afford the books, meaning when I met kids in freshman year of high school who could afford the books and I read theirs, 13-year-old kid making my own character, and I was the most awesome thing ever, something that made sense for a 13-year-old, and he was part every single dragon, beholder, umberhulk, anything you can imagine, and he had 4 arms and looked like he was drawn by Sam Keith and big tusks and leathery wings, and my DM, my new friend Mike Burke, hello wherever you are in the world, he's the head of philosophy at St. Joseph's College now, which most DMs probably end up doing. And he's like, okay, fine, we'll let you do it, roll up your character. Highest roll was a 12. Out of 18. I didn't have the strength to support the mass of this body that I had created. So I said, you're polymorphed into an elf. And the worst part about that is I thought it would be really awesome to have this big giant monster. What was he? He was a bard. Who invented the electric guitar. So I ended up being a tiny little slight elf with a lute. My first game. And I still play that character today. Here's the D&D story. 13-year-old Frank Slottick. You guys have D&D stories?
No, I don't.
Sure don't. I mean, I do play D&D, but I don't quite make 80s albums with my characters, so, which clearly is my own fault. That's amazing.
His name was Pax, by the way. Pax, which is peace in Latin, which is ironic because he looked so evil.
I guess my only D&D story, I guess, is the one where I was working on Geek and Sundry, and it was literally like my character that they created because they knew what I was doing. They're like, we want you to give us a list of all the voices you can have. Like, that's not fair. Like, I know, because I mean, like, I do so many freaking sound. Like, I don't even know all I do. I don't even know who half the guys I'm doing their voices for, who they are, like most of the time. Because they're like, hey, can you send us back in 5 minutes? I'm like, I don't know this guy, all right. I'll look him up later, oh yeah, that's the guy that's in that thing, okay. So I'm like, how about I just do the ones that are like the best ones that I do? So I gave him like a much shorter list. So he created this character that literally, every time he rolls less than 10, I have to change into another character. By the time I got to Samuel L. Jackson, we were in the part of the game where he was like, okay, what is your next move? It was like, I'm going to throw something that's going to explode behind me in cool slow motion as I slowly walk away. And he's like, you got a 3. It was like, I tripped on my butt and got badly burned. I was like, that would be such a cool moment, like that movie moment. I was like, and I had another one where I was like, I say an awesome one-liner, and I was like, 2. Like, I say a terrible one-liner that nobody gets.
There's silence and a single cough. Yes, you had another question? Yes.
So, since you were kind of an outsider to Transformers when you started this role, how much has your knowledge of this fandom grown since then?
Oh, come on.
That guy's the doctor. No, honestly,
Quick, look over there!
Yeah, right. I just very feebly roll under the table.
Just look up.
Yeah, right.
3 stealth.
Anyway, my familiarity with Transformers has gone up considerably. Mostly this guy's fault. Because,
Well,
you know,
coming to these things.
yeah, and definitely coming to these conventions has helped a lot too. And because like when I'm actually in the artist alley and stuff and looking at stuff and looking at all the things, I will actually take these off and have people glasses on so that I can look at them. And then I will gradually learn, like, you know, oh, this is that, and this is this edition, and that sort of thing. Like, for example, the other day I bought this 18-inch Megatron figure, which I adore. It's so ridiculous. It's amazing.
Most of the giant ones are ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous, but it's so cool. I know, I couldn't help it.
This giant action master.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You guys ask yourself every time, where am I going to put this?
Yeah, and then I'm like, I will put it everywhere. Because it's like entirely reusable.
It's like the centerpiece. It's like your dining room centerpiece.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, honey, can you pass the mashed potato?
Just toss it over his fusion cannon, it's fine.
Don't break a finger! Careful with the finger.
But no, honestly, like my familiarity has definitely come up since I first started. Where I was just kind of like, Megatron's a deception face bad guy. Just because I just wasn't hugely into it when I was look.
Someone needs to make that comment.
Deception face bad guy.
Those drunk history things. Just have you just explain all.
Oh boy.
And have yours like so. Deception face.
Yeah, deception face. Deception face. Attack. Deception face. Retreat. It's kind of like
You just call everybody now.
pretty much. It's kind of like the G1 thing that I did when I think I sent you that video. I was watching G1 because I had the DVD box set. I was just kind of like dubbing over the whole thing, and I remember that Shockwave was just, it's just like, I don't know, get me some Dippin' Dots. And he just went over something, and I just sent it to Frank, and Frank was just like, can we make something out of this? Like, we should. So just at some point, we'll go with my lack of Transformers knowledge and
That's how I started on YouTube, literally.
Yeah, we'll riff something together. But yeah, thank you. So I kind of, that's how I did. Anyway, do you have another question?
To be fair though, like, I don't know Frank's knowledge, but I'm not an uber fan. Like, I know a lot about Transformers, but I don't know every, like, they start saying things I don't understand in Japanese, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what, or comic stuff, like, I read the Dreamwave, I read the Marvel, and that was, like, so I have, out of the giant circle, I may know almost half of it or so, I mean, we don't know everything.
So, have any of you read More Than Meets the Eye?
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to.
Got all the traits, you know.
Oh, of course you do. It's his fault.
I know a guy.
It's his fault. He's also the one who's like, you need this edition of this figure, right? Or he gets me this edition of this figure. So this is all his fault. Yeah, but all right, I will take that into good news.
I'll
take it under advisement.
He's like, I may or may not know a guy who's got a copy or whatever. I'll look him up.
Spoiler alert, it's me.
Hey,
Hey.
I got a question. Thank you. Sister got it for me, I think I felt it. But I was gonna ask, so you were new to the franchise and all. Where did your sassy, brassy Megatron come from? Like, where did that? Because if you didn't, like, did you know about like David Cazal, very flamboyant, or did you just kind of come up with one?
I didn't know anything. I really didn't know anything about it going in, and I actually didn't see the design of the characters. I didn't know it was going to look like, G1 or what G1 was. So, I was.
Was that your first interaction with Transformers at all? Or?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, really? So
I mean, it's not that. No. I mean, I had seen some of the cartoons when I was a kid and everything. I was just never like hugely into it.
Okay, but you were at least aware.
Yeah, I was aware that like that's Optimus Prime, and
that's my parents. That's Megazord. But then I used to go to these free yard sales and be like, "Hey, I got you a Megatron." I'm like, "Dad, Saban doesn't make Transformers."
She's
That's Bandai. Clearly, this giant monstrosity that you brought.
Voltron is.
He's like, "But it was only 25 cents."
But yeah, the Megatron thing, the sassiness came from the script because he's just retired and he doesn't give a fluff. So he that mostly came from the script, which was nice because I was like, he's this uber bad guy. There's like most of the ways to play him seems to be like this very mustache twirling, egomaniacal, like villain and stuff. But he's just kind of like oh hey Prime, you want to fight and stuff like that. Come on, let's fight. Come on, hey, come on. Like that whole scene when he first sees Prime and stuff. He's sort of dancing around. So I didn't. He is though. He's doing a whole like pugilist thing. Like he's an old timey boxer.
On his front lawn, though.
Exactly. Yeah. He's got a cabin up at the top. But yeah, the voice that I originally auditioned with was because I thought they were doing super serious stuff. So it was just the growl just down here. But as we went through it, we were like, let's smooth it out so he has this, so we can tip down to emphasize certain things. So that way we, kind of have this nice flow of this different voice and stuff, because they were very specific, like, don't do a Frank Welker impression. And I'm like, one, it's Frank Welker and I wouldn't, and two, I don't remember what that sounds like. So you're welcome that I don't remember this Megatron. But of course now I'm more fully aware of, like the brilliant Frank Welker performance of Megatron and so many other awesome actors who play Megatron. Like I'm delighted to be in such a pantheon. So.
I can sum up Megatron in 3 sentences.
My ultimate weapon! Decepticons attack! Decepticons retreat!
That's literally Megatron in every episode.
Pretty much. It is true. And then there's our version where he's like, Decepticons, sit down! Throw me a beer.
One of those sentences, if you did 3 sentences, would have to be,
Let's wrestle!
Yeah, right? Somebody fight me.
I was like, let's fight!
Yeah. He's that drunk.
Somebody fight me to transform!
And then he's doing the theme song, he's like, da 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 da. But no one else is participating.
You should redo the 5 Options of Megatron with the Star Trek.
This is just like that scene with Kirk.
Remake Cable Guy.
What are you doing?
Come on, it's fun. Go with it.
We have fun. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Craziest date story.
Crazy what?
Date.
Date story?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, May 27th was a word.
Yeah, that was one I remember.
Sorry, I'm a dad. What do you expect?
Thank you for not saying May 26th.
Yeah.
Craziest date story? I don't really. I dated one other girl before my wife, so I can't tell any crazy date stories that I'm married to because eventually she'll find out.
I dated a juggler once, which is not weird, it's awesome.
Was her ringtone?
You know what, I tried to convince her to do that. But no, like legit, after we had gone out to dinner because we dated for a little while, and afterwards she legit, like we had those smaller packages of stuff to take home, she legit opened her bag and went zoop, 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 and they all 3 went in. I can't make it up. I wish I was lying because it sounds ridiculous, but I remember I only barely caught it because I was just coming back and I'm like, do you just do that when you're doing stuff? She's like, oh yeah, you see me like throw my keys onto the wall and stuff. Like I'm pretty sure she's Spider-Gwen, but I'm not. But yeah, so that was a pretty intense experience.
Before you went on your date at Hugh Jackman show, I was like, ladies and gentlemen, this is the date you've been waiting for.
Yes.
So I used to be a...
Greatest showmans.
I used to be a juggler. I had the weirdest freaking time. No,
This vampire guy.
Yeah, so it is.
For me, I will instead of giving you the where were you asked that the craziest story, the most appropriate one. Because the crazy ones are probably not appropriate. I met this girl. She reached out to me on the interwebs, and I met up, and she was being the whimsical whatever or small talk, and I thought I would bring her a present. Energon Strong Arm. I brought a Transformer to there. Not saying that I was actually a Transformers fan. This was around the time when Strong Arm was on shelves in Union Square, Toys R Us / Babies R Us store, R.I.P. And never happened again. I mean, it was not a love match. So, yeah, I was trying to downplay the whole thing. Like, hey, look, this is funny. It's a robot. Turns into a...
This is a test to see
little Jeez, right? It's silly, right? I have 17 versions of him and the Japanese repaints. Rich Green, hi.
Yes. Was there any room for like improvisation for the?
No.
No, because again, everything was all all sort of laid out the timing already. So like, we would add things here and there, just because, like, especially with Starscream, there you want to do a little laugh or a sneer at the end, or and then it just won't fit because it'll he's like. So yeah, which is why a lot of times, like when something does seem kind of off, it's because that's how it has to fit in that way.
So not a lot of room for improvising on any of the series, really.
Well, it's because, like I said, most normal animation, they do the animation after they've got the audio, so you don't have to worry about flip flaps. But anime and like anything that's got pre-animation already finished for it, you have to fit that specific time because they've already got it like delivered out. But I can't remember what line it was, but Optimus had one line that was ridiculously long and they would not change much to it. You probably know what I'm talking about. It took me like 5 tries to squeeze it in that short amount of time, and it came out so freaking fast. It doesn't even sound like Optimus Prime anymore. Because
Optimus Prime does not speak quickly. He speaks deliberately and with intention. Never fast. Always slow.
They want me to talk like Blur in that voice. I'm like, that's
I like my voice.
There was a lot of improvising when we were not.
Oh yeah, we were goofing around.
There already like places where you wanted to improvise.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Like any in particular that would have been like where you thought would have improved?
Well, it's hard to explain. I was kind of like Hugh Jackman. I don't know if anybody's heard this story, but in X-Men 1, Hugh Jackman was like, he loves Wolverine. He tried like a dozen times to get Bub in the movie. He kept trying to slip in a Bub, you know? And then only one of them, magically, they forgot to cut it out because they kept telling me, like, no, you were not doing Bub. Like, don't do that. So every time I would get a line, I was constantly, all right,
Anyway. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, so mostly with Megatron, I just sort of wanted him to like just sort of react to things snidely a little more. Like when when Optimus is just sort of like no killing Starscream, just have him be like, all right. Oh, Optimus told me no. Whatever will I do?
I almost wish they had just animated him going like, okay, wink. Gotcha. Right? No killing. I understood.
Why are you still winking? You're going to kill Starscream, aren't you? No. I would never.
So yeah, that's how we're on that.
I don't know, how many people were at the Bumblebee panel on Saturday? Okay, so I'm going to share the story real quick because it's kind of along the same lines. Or if you did not know, originally Soundwave's famous line of Ravage Eject was originally a Ravage Eject Operation Destruction, and it was so freaking cool to have that in there. And then cut it, and I was like, my heart. Because I really wanted that to be in the Operation something, you know, it was just so iconic. Sorry, I thought I would throw that.
Come on. My turn. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is it possible in your voices to take something out of real life and talk in your voice? Reality?
What do you mean?
Do you take like a newspaper and read the article in your voice?
Well, of course.
We can do
Do
that.
you have a newspaper right now?
Take out my phone and bring out something.
Sure. Just make sure it's appropriate for the children in the room.
I see it back here.
Ralph's. Delivery in 2 hours. Go to Ralphs.com for your grocery needs.
Exit.
Vikings, TFcon presented by the Chosen Prime. There's Ralph's.
And the
Chosen Prime.
Chosen Prime.
Is good.
Do you do that a lot? You know, like when you're out in public and just...
Are you kidding?
start
Drive-thrus are the
going-
most fun. One time I called Walgreens as Optimus Prime looking for a cream for my cosmic rust. And I kid you not, he went to look for it. And I waited on hold for 5 minutes. I was like,
I ran into some scramblets recently. Serious case of cosmic rust in my nuts and bolts.
he's like, I don't see any cosmic rust cream. That was a 20-minute phone call. I don't know.
I will say that's some real dedication.
Excellent customer service, Walgreens.
Did they ever call you on your voice? Did they ever call you out on your voice?
No, I thought I had somebody for real. I thought somebody recognized me because I ordered Chinese food on the phones, and I asked for Energon sauce. I thought, seriously, and after that she's like, okay, And so and then she repeated my order back with Energon sauce. I'm like, if they have Energon sauce in this restaurant, I was hoping for a bowl of purple glowing stuff. Like, I just wanted to see this thing. I was like, she lied, there's not Energon sauce.
Is that time?
It is.
All right.
And what great talk.
Deacon, look for Deacon.
I'm leaving. I don't know what they're doing.